Good morning. Today we're joined by Jurie Fourie. He's the General Manager of Scatec in Sub-Saharan Africa. Good morning, Jan.
Morning, Tinus.
Thanks for speaking to me, Jan. I want to just start by mentioning that you guys are sponsoring a research chair in our department. So thank you very much for that. So that's out of the way. Now we can talk informal business. Jan, could you spare me a few minutes and just tell me where and when did you decide to do engineering? What led you to engineering?
The first thing is I don't come from a family of engineers, so there was no peer pressure. I think like many other engineers in the family that you'll bring the family to disrepute if you don't study engineering. So there's some medical professionals and teachers and the like, but I think it's my boundless curiosity, I think, really led me to engineering. I like to understand how the world works in a technical, scientific, but all sorts of fields. And then back in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a program called Beyond 2000. I think it was some like an Australian program, and that really stirred my curiosity in engineering. And I had a little book in pre-primary. You had to put down the names of your friends and what do you want to become, and people wanted to be firemen and all sorts of things. And in that, I still wrote electronic engineer. I mean, my mother pulled it out the other day, so that it goes back quite a few years. Yeah, that's how I got into it.
It's amazing that Beyond 2000. I remember that it was on Sunday afternoons, and I never missed it. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was really awesome. It's amazing how these small things really influence the way that you make your life choices, actually.
Exactly.
And then you studied at Stellenbosch University, after which you also did an MBA, which means you've gone into a business administration type role. In that position that you're in at the moment, what do you think is the most important or vital skills, engineering skills, that you took with you and still use today?
Yeah, maybe just 2 words on why I did that. I mean, I worked as an engineer for quite a few years before I decided to do my MBA, and the reason for that was the projects didn't go ahead because there was not a technical solution. It was because of some business reason. There wasn't money and there wasn't business case. So then I decided I want to be part of kind of making the business happen. So understanding all the building blocks, but I don't necessarily want to design the building blocks. I want to play Lego. Other people can build the blocks, and then I want to build the system. And that's effectively what I use my skills for now. I mean, we operate in renewable energy, and obviously there's multiple areas that we need to work in. There's community issues that you need to deal with, but very definite technical challenges when it comes to the grid and the plant and everything. But then also being responsible for the business in Sub-Saharan Africa, we need to deal with people, finances, and the whole basket. But I think if there's one single thing I brought along with me is an analytical approach to problem solving. I think when you leave a university, especially when you studied engineering, you basically just did math with nice names to it, whether it's Stelsels and Steiner 315 or whatever. It's math with other label, but I think it does give you very good analytical lenses and kind of tongs to grab a problem with. I think sometimes we can get stuck in only trying to use those. They say if your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So that's why having, I think, other paradigms in addition to that assist you in becoming a kind of a round problem solver.
That's a very good answer. Could you also tell me, Jan, you're in a position where you employ engineers at the moment. I don't know how many work for you, so maybe start with that, and then just tell me what type of skills are you actively looking for that you struggle to fill?
So we employ, this is, I think, actually quite a unique story. So we're a global organization listed in Oslo, but South Africa, we employ more people in South Africa than we do anywhere else in the world. So we employ more than 200 people, and our global engineering team is actually based out of our Cape Town offices. So we employ, our head of engineering is probably not, I should probably know this number, but it's in excess of 20 engineers that we employ. Discipline-wise, mostly electrical engineers, a couple of civil and mechanical engineers as well. And I think that the skills that we're looking for is really people with kind of really deep understanding of technical problems, but because it's in the context of a business setting, you can't just be a subject matter expert, because you need to know where it comes from, how to interrogate what you've been asking, and also be able to give answers with imperfect information, because unlike an exam paper, you don't always have all the inputs to solve the problem. So I think being able to deal with uncertainty and ambiguity and still being able to come up with sensible technical answers, I think is an important skill. And engineers typically struggle with that, because I mean, I need all the inputs before I can give you an answer. So being able to grapple with that dichotomy, I think is an important skill.
So Jan, it's quite obvious that engineering is a difficult field to study, and it's a discipline that takes a lot of discipline and a lot of cognitive abilities, and many students struggle. In fact, many students take 5 years to complete their degree. Could you maybe give me insight into what you've seen during your time in industry and what you've seen play out and what you think engineers need to make a success?
I think the first one, and now I'm not trying to knock good grades, is that some of the colleagues, some of my fellow students who were maybe not the top of the class people, and I'm putting myself in that group, ended up doing better. I wouldn't say in life and in business endeavors afterwards than the people getting the top scores. So I mean, but I think the point here is don't not try engineering because you think it's tough. I think it's a Swiss Army knife that you get. That can take you many places in industry, and the work ethic that it teaches you will take you very far in life. I mean, one of my very good friends really struggled through a lot of the subjects, but he finished at the end of the day, and he's making an absolute success of his career now. And it's not despite his struggles, but it's because of his struggles in engineering. So the work ethic that he learned and kind of grappling with the problems, I mean, makes him an excellent person in industry now. So I think to be successful, it's important to realize that there's the head knowledge, and can you solve the differential vergelykings, which it's good ones to have, but you don't do business in a vacuum. There's always people connected to it. So if you can't build and sustain relationships, you're not going to achieve much. So there's also an element of personal development that needs to come into this, to say, but why can't I connect with people, or why am I just looking at the tips of my shoes? Well, people buy from people. Whether you think you've got a great product or not it's neither here nor there, but people want to buy from people, and good relationships tend to kind of build on each other. So I think one shouldn't just see this through one lens. It's really a continuum of, obviously you need this head knowledge, and it's a ticket to the game. But in addition to that, to make a real difference in the world, you really need a broader set of skills. And the sooner you can start developing it, I think the sooner you will start making an impact and also see career growth.
That is such a good answer. So Jan, any last thoughts before we say goodbye? Maybe some suggestions for students?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things for people coming out of school is, well, what should I do and where should I go? So, I mean, with my Scatec hat on, the one thing that I can proudly say is being part of an organization that works on good things. We're building infrastructure, and we're providing power, and we're doing it in a sustainable way. It's not just an exciting work environment because you work on big projects worth lots of money with other stakeholders. It's also meaningful because it feels that you're building towards something. It's not, you're not just taking, and you're not destroying people or the environment or something in the process. So I think for a long-term career and fulfillment beyond, I want to say, eating and having a roof over your head, there's also, I think people want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves, that transcends their own ambitions and family. So if you are the same mindset, I mean, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to hitch your wagon to the renewable energy train. So, and yeah, drop me a line if you want to know more.
Okay, fantastic. Jan, thank you very much for spending time with us and sharing your very interesting insights and ideas. I'm pretty sure it's going to be useful to the students. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Thanks, Dennis.